The 1995 Gold Coast Indy weekend comes to a close with the 5th running of the Gold Coast Indycar Grand Prix Round 2 of the 1995 PPG IndyCar World Series. We of course competed in the 2 Super Tourer support races for the event, and as an encore we're doing a one-off in the IndyCar race, driving for Dick Simon in a Lola Cosworth, where we've done a pretty realistic sort of preparation for this. I haven't played IndyCar Racing 2, which is the platform we're using for this event, in around 20 years. So all I've done is, I've done a couple of laps at Portland testing, and then we're straight into practice and qualifying for the event. It should be an entertaining race and hopefully an entertaining watch for you guys racing along with me. So let's have a look at the grid, how they line up for the 65 lap race. On pole position, the reigning PPG IndyCar World Champion Al Unser Jr., car number 1, the Marlboro Penske, joined by Michael Andretti for Newman Haas Racing on row number 1. Andretti, of course, for 1995, returning to Newman Haas, who he'd last driven for in 1992. Row number 2, position 3, Paul Tracy, car number 3, the Budweiser Newman Haas Lola, and he's joined by Scott Pruitt for Patrick Racing, out of position number 4. Row number 3, All-American Jimmy Vasser, the Target STP car for Chip Ganassi. He's joined by Robbie Gordon for Valvoline Walker Racing, car number 5. Row number 4, Jacques Villeneuve, the winner of round 1 in Miami. He's joined by former F1 driver Christian Fittipaldi in position number 8. Row 5, Andre Ribeiro, car number 31 for Tasman Motorsports. He's joined by Brazilian veteran Emerson Fittipaldi, former world champion, former kart champion, former Indy 500 winner. Position 11, Bobby Rahal, car number 9, Miller Genuine Draft. He's got Mercedes power for 1995, and he's joined by veteran Teo Fabi, car number 33 for Forsyth Racing. Position 13, Gilles de Ferran, Hall Racing, a rookie in 1995, joined by Adrian Fernandez in the Gallus, number 10. Position 15, Alessandro Zampedri. He's joined on row number 8 by Denny Sullivan, car number 17, returning to the championship after a year off. Position 17, former Formula 1 driver Maurizio Gugelmin. He's in the second of the Pac West cars, joined by Raul Boesel in the Duracell car. He's partnering Bobby Rahal this season. Row number 10, it's all ex-F1 drivers. Eddie Cheever driving for AJ Foyt in the Copenhagen car. He's joined by the Bettenhausen Motorsports number 16 of Stefan Johansson. Position 21, Brian Herder in the Ganassi Target Scotch Video car, joined by the Honda-powered Parker Johnston, car number 49. We're out of position number 23, Russ Dougman, the Dick Simon Racing Lola. Alongside us is our teammate Eliseo Salazar, car number 7. Row number 13, Eric Batchelor, and he's joined by Carlos Guerrero. And the final row of the grid, Hiro Matsushita and Marco Greco. A big 28 car grid for the second round of the series, the 5th running of the Gold Coast IndyCar Grand Prix. This could go any way for us. Let's just jump in and see what happens. So as we come round to the end of the pace lap, winding through the high rises for the start of our first IndyCar race, round 2 of the 1995 PPG IndyCar World Series. Back onto the Gold Coast Highway. Brian Herder in front of us. In for the start. And we're away for 65 laps on the Gold Coast streets. We'll get on the brakes nice and early for turn 1. So easy for it to go wrong here. Back to first gear through the chicane. Dropped a couple of spots, but so has everyone on our side of the grid. Through the second chicane, onto the straight, down to the A&A Hotel. 4th gear, 5th gear. Oh, and can we get up the inside of Herder? We can. Under brakes for the A&A Hotel. Up the short chute. Can we get up the inside of Eliseo Salazar? Onto the Esplanade for the first time. I haven't got the boost all the way up yet because Got to think of reliability as we come down to the back chicane. Oh, Marco Greco's in front of us in the Gallus racing machine. Up through the gears to the double chicane out the back. A lot of cut and thrust in the first lap. We just got to get through it. Stefan Johansson is in front of Marco Greco. He dives up the inside. Can we get Johansson into the second one? Oof! We're into the back of him. I don't think we've got any damage. Johansson in the Bettenhausen run Alumax sponsored car. Round for the end of the first lap. Down the front straight. Eric Batchelor's around us as well. Sixth gear. Down to the first chicane. Oof, I thought about it. Oh, I think we were offline there. I'm very conscious of not winding the boost up too much and watching the revs because it's very easy to blow an engine in IndyCar Racing too. Around the double right, and we'll come back onto the Esplanade for the second time. So we've dropped a spot, qualified 23rd, running 24th. But it's going to be a race of patience, this one, I think. Given it, I mean, it is a hard game. So we come through the back chicane for the second time. Of course, we've also got to think of fuel mileage when it comes to the boost, because you won't get through the race on 2 stops if you wind the boost up. I think you'd probably struggle to get through it on 3 stops. Back to first gear, a bit of understeer as we come round to end the second lap. Got to watch the revs there. Don't want to buzz the engine. As I say, they do blow very easy in this game. 6th gear. Under brakes. How cool is it to be playing basically a 30-year-old game in 2025? And a game it is hard. It is very hard. Of course, there's no force feedback or anything, so... Oh, that's not good. Managed to get away with it though. Eric Batchelor's behind us and coming past us, I think. There he goes, so... we'll drop a spot. Brian Herder's behind us. It's very eye heavy, this game, because there's no force feedback. So it is going to be a real test of endurance. Around Conrad Jupiter's corner. Sweet. Back behind Batchelor as we come around to end the lap. Can we get up the inside? He's very slow mid-corner. We can't, gets away from us down the straight. Batchelor, the former Indy Lights champion. in, I think, 1991. Can we get up the inside into the second? I don't think so. Get in the draft. It's probably running a bit more boost. I do want to try and save fuel a bit as well early on. Should come up to the back chicane. I've tried to do this race like a one-off driver on the Gold Coast would have, so I did some... I couldn't find Firebird Raceway on the main IndyCar Racing 2 forum and download page, so I did a bit of testing at Portland, and then, but not very much, and then I was straight into practice and qualifying here for this race, because I can't have played this game for a good 20 years. Probably a little bit more. Down the front straight. 6th gear. And of course we're driving for Dick Simon, who did run one-off cars in the Gold Coast events in the early 90s. Round the back. Still in front of Brian Herder, which is a bit surprising given he's driving for Chip Ganassi's team in the primary Target Scotch video car. Of course, Jimmy Vassari's teammates up the front qualified 5th in the Target STP car. Because it was 1996 that Target took on the full branding of the car. Around the back of the circuit, the switchback part of the track at the end of the lap. Right alongside Eric Batchelor, but he's revving it harder. Maybe I've got to wind the boost up if I want to get past him. Oof. Or we can just do that. I didn't really want to do that actually, but he got on the brakes a lot earlier than I thought. Through the gears. Through the third turn. Turn 4. Important corner because it gets you onto the back straight. It'll rev sorted to 13.5 out to 14, but I'm trying to keep it around 11.5, 12. Just for reliability. So 24th place, one down on where we qualified. Through the double chicane, the Foster's chicane out the back. Foster's beer, of course Australian. Or it was at the time, I don't think it is now. I think it's South African owned now. Carlton and United Breweries, I believe, are the bottler of it, the owner of it. Through the final turn, bit of understeer. Stand on the gas. The main worrying thing, of course, is that we're 1 minute 7 seconds 1 minute 14 seconds off the lead now. Oh, that could have been really nasty. We clipped the wall into turn 1. Of course, the 90s are considered the heyday of IndyCar racing. That's certainly when I got really familiar with it, because from 1991 Australia got a round of the IndyCar series, and from 91, rather than just getting coverage of the Indy 500, we got coverage of every round of the season. Through the chicane, 2 wheels up on the curbs. So we're a quarter of the way through the tank of fuel. The aim is to get to lap 22, so we can do the race on 2 stops. Up behind former F1 driver Stefan Johansson. He's driven in the IndyCar series since 92, as we come onto the straight. Too much power from the other car. So seven laps down. Into lap 8. Onto the Esplanade. The crazy thing is we're about to be lapped. The back chicane, oh, thought we could have had a bit of a go at Johansson there, but tried to get a bit of a run out of the chicane, but cut the corner a bit too much. Back onto the front straight. Try and tuck into the slipstream. Can we have a dive under brakes? The brakes a bit later than Bachelor. Kept it in third through there. It seemed to flow okay through the chicane. Two cars down a lap. No attrition yet, which is surprising. Down to turn 1. No, Johansson brakes much later than Eric Batchelor. I'm getting impatient, which isn't good. Will be lapped imminently, I think. Out we come. Try and keep the car from revving too much. Oh, it's so slow through there. Cross the strike. So we're 10 laps into the race now. It's probably about as close to corner cutting as you can get. If we get lapped, through the back chicane, I guess that effectively puts us a lap up on our fuel numbers in a way. Through the double chicane out the back. Michael Andretti, it looks like, behind us. This is IndyCar Racing, of course, so you can continue to fight. Oh, Stefan Johansson. No. Down to turn 1. This looks like Andretti's pitted, actually. Which is interesting. Seems a bit early for a pit stop. Oh! Only just got away with that. This is a very difficult game. As I've said earlier, it's very eye heavy. And it's a little bit hard to talk as much as I usually do, but I'm trying to. One thing it does do, it shows you sort of the skills that the likes of GP Laps and Ted Mead have got, because they are very cool, calm and collected when they're commentating the way around this game. This is hopeless onto the front straight. I haven't done that yet. Second gear for the chicane. Oof. Something happened there. Guess something that can happen on a game, especially an older one. Falling foul of that corner, unfortunately. Few little driving errors creeping in. Something's gone on at the front because we're now only a minute 14 off the lead. We've gained a spot, so someone has dropped out. So we're just under half tank now. So we might make it to lap 22. Not if we keep doing that. Perhaps with the tanks getting a bit lighter, it's suiting Johansson a bit more. Through the chicane. To the beachfront chicane. No yellow in the race yet, which is a bit surprising as well. Over the second chicane. Oh, we're giving that right front a real workout. Just lost the pace a little bit in the last couple of laps. understeered out wide there. Lucky we haven't bent a wing or anything. Finally we make the apex of turn 1. Sort of keeping Bachelor a couple of seconds behind us. A little bit of a better lap. In terms of chasing down Johansson. Under the Qantas Bridge, onto the Esplanade, killing this right front tyre. Still got 15 gallons of fuel left. Oof. Not the greatest race I've done so far. So 48 laps to go. So we need to get another 5 laps out of the fuel tank. Back onto the Esplanade. So we're using about 1.6 gallons a lap. So we've probably got another 5 laps we can do, which should get us comfortably past the territory needed to do the race on 2 stops, whether that's what the AI is planning to do as well. Of course, there's been no yellow flags yet to spice the strategy up a little bit. Sixth gear across the line. So we're nearly 20 laps into the race. Looked like Michael Andretti had a big lead, judging by how quick he came up to lap us all. And then he's either pitted early or dropped out. And that gave us a reprieve in terms of staying on the lead lap, which is so important, especially if there are safety cars. Or pace cars is the proper name for them. Especially in this era. And I mean, still to this day in America. Around to the end of the lap. Still chasing Stefan Johansson. Can't decide whether first gear or second gear is the way to go for that corner. Across the line. If I've learned anything from this game so far, sometimes just going a gear higher is helpful. Onto the Esplanade. Through the Marlborough chicane. Oh, probably cut that chicane a little bit, but as is tradition, almost everyone cuts it at some point. Of course, we were on with Michael Andretti in 1994. And of course the big debut of Reynard in IndyCar Racing. And that looks like Johansson coming to the pits. It is. Routine or not, not sure. A couple of other guys in the pits. So we're up to 20th. Alessandro Zampedri in front of us. Through the back chicane. He'll be full of fuel, Zampedri, I think. So we should be able to make a little bit of time. So we may have been able to get a little bit of extra few extra laps out of this tank. So 43 to go, so we've made 22 laps, which was the goal. I think we'll get another 2 in actually. Oh. Oh. Tail comes around a little bit. Down the Esplanade, I think that's Michael Andretti behind us. So he must have made an early stop. Oof. Andretti, I think, ran into us. I think Andretti ran into us. So we're trying to get around Zampedri. Down the front straight. Fuel light is on. I really think this strategy has worked for us because we've done a number of more laps. Oof, okay, we've nudged the fence there. I just hope I haven't put Michael Andretti out of the race. It's the second time he's been right behind us to lap us. So I think winding the boost down's worked. Round onto the straight. So we'll probably do one more lap. I don't think we'll push it any more than that. Potentially undid all our work there. Turn the boost up for this lap into the pits. A bit scrappy, or very scrappy actually. First stint, but and we're up to a line of cars, so I'll just wind the boost back because we're not going to get through them. Back to first gear. And this is ruining a lot of our momentum. We'll just have to be patient. Hiro Schuster is getting lapped. But we'll come into the pits. New tyres going on. Petrol. $40 litres. 13 seconds, away we go. So it's 80km/h speed limit. Past a few lapped cars. Out of the pits we go. And off we nearly go. Al Jr. out of the race. Started from pole. The reigning champion. Down to the A&A Hotel. We've jumped Stefan Johansson and Carlos Guerrero. Oh! How did we keep that out of the wall? We might have just brushed the wall, but I guess that's cold tyres. But it has cost us a place to Carlos Guerrero. So that's a bit of hard work undone. Oh. Cold tyres, I guess. Full load of fuel. Through the second chicane. Try and stay in the slipstream. Oh. Too many mistakes. This game is a lot of fun. This is the longest stint I've had on it. As I said, for probably 25 years. Chasing our Dick Simon Racing teammate. Of course, Eliseo Salazar is in the other car. Get up the inside. Too much power. It's like in the Hyundai in the Super Tourer race earlier today. We just couldn't get... Just didn't have the horsepower. Of course, this is partly my doing in this car because I've wound the boost down to try and get enough fuel mileage. Make up a bit of time in the chicanes. Just gonna have to get creative off the last corner, I think. I don't think we're far enough past. I didn't block him. Tried to get into the draft there, but not on the brakes early enough. So I wound the boost up. Perhaps that's what I should have done earlier in the race. And just had a real go at him. We got the leader coming up behind us. For a lapped car anyway, because we're already or a car that's a lap ahead. Interesting to see how far the gap ahead is now. 20 seconds to Eddie Cheever. Oh! And we've damaged the car. That's going to hurt us. You just see on the front left there a bit of damage. Over the curb. Oof. I think we're losing a bit of time on the corners here. Just going to have to turn it in early. Oh, I think just understeered on the way through there. That shows you how we're going. Lost 4 seconds to Cheever on that lap. Onto the Esplanade again. Through the Foster's chicane. Oh. Surprised there's been no yellow flag yet. .33 laps to go, so we are half distance. Hero Maschuster is up next. Of course, a man who became a kart stalwart through the 90s. Some beautiful liveried machines. 1995, one of them. Beautiful yellow and blue that we're catching up on here. Oh, just no turn. Carlos Guerrero is caught back up to us. Oh. This car is really dirty. Sort of darts and then understeers. Very unpredictable. So we're sitting 18th. On the back part of the circuit that's not used anymore. It's got a tram line that actually goes through it. Up the back straight. Of course, the track only used for Australian supercars racing. When it sort of rejoins here, you turn sharp left at the second chicane and joins up just after that chicane, the back chicane. So this part of the track's still used today. Hero so slow through the chicane. Oh. I must apologise for some poor driving. Off! Ah, no! Well... shows you the dangers of lap traffic. And here's... oh, we've got no turn in. Here's Hero. We're understeering. He's come across the middle of the track. Oh, so we'll come back to the pits, I think. We're going to have to. Get some repairs done. It's just not turning. Teo Fabi, I think, coming up behind us. Sorry, Teo. Round onto the straight. Oh, long line of cut. Ah, we're not turning left. Here we come, into the pits. God, that's a shame. The race was going pretty good, I thought, considering. A lot of damage getting fixed. "25 seconds. So back into it. 80km pit speed limit. Mile an hour rather. Scott Pruitt comes around us. So at least the car's fixed, but a long way behind. Still in front of Hero. Through the back chicane. Straight away, I can feel what has been wrong with the car for about 10 laps. I've got to turn in. "28 laps to go. Still got to keep my head with it because, I mean, we can still make some time up. We're not completely out in terms of catching people. Might be if we keep doing that. Oh. Of course, in many people's eyes, 1995 was the last proper year of Indy cars. Of course, the IRL split. Well, split's the wrong word. I know that's the common word, but you know, many would argue that the split happened in '79 when Kart broke away from USAC. And some would say all the IRL did was offer an alternative to Kart rather than a breakaway. But either way, there was a there was competition in IndyCar racing from then on between series, and it's sort of recovered. But long overtaken in the popularity stakes by NASCAR, where it was maybe level pegging is not the right word, but and maybe it would have happened anyway, but there's no doubt IndyCar racing took a hit. So we roll through. Jack back down the front straight. Not really catching Eliseo Salazar. Of course, Salazar, a long career in Formula One in the early 80s. And he'd go on to make, you know, a decent enough name for himself in the IRL. Right through to the early 2000s. I'd love to do some more racing on this game going forward. I love the fact that we overcut and made so much ground in that first pit stop. Shows you what the game's capable of in terms of strategies. Across the curve. We're running around quite alone at the moment. Hero's obviously replaced his tyre. He's going again. Still shocked there hasn't been a yellow flag. And that there's still 25 odd cars running. Parker Johnston out of the race. In what I believe is the Comptech Honda. Parker, of course, did IMSA before kart, and after kart, going to be a great commentator. car up ahead of us. It looks like. Saw a flash of red, so... Brian Herder in the pits. There's a car, red car up ahead. So, second round of pit stops, obviously. So we're going to have to be careful. These are guys, I think we can have a bit of a dice with them, but we don't want to do anything to spoil anyone's race. Through the chicane. Looks like Marco Greco in the second of the Gallus cars. And Christian Fittipaldi. Another rookie in 1995 in kart, but obviously had done Formula 1 before IndyCars. Oof. In fact, it wasn't Marco Greco, it's the Pac West car of Maurizio Gugelmin. Big line of cars here. If you get out wide, it just understeers off the track into the fence. I'll learn that for the next time we race here. Gugelmin trying to get up the inside of Fittipaldi. Open the gap for us there, Gugelmin. Fittipaldi almost just parked the car in the corner. Still got a lot of fuel to go. It's Ralbazell next up. In the Duracell car for Rahal Hogan Racing in 1995. Obviously low fuel, a lot of these cars, or heavy fuel rather. Because that's now Brian Herter right in front of us. And the battle's on for 22nd place. We'll have to strike while the iron's hot. Right up behind the target, Scotch Video. Reynard. Herter having his first full kart season after doing the early season with with AJ Foyt rather. Oh. Touch with Andre Ribeiro there, and now it's letting Herter have another go at us. Could have been nasty twice there. Obviously, we're able to mix it up here with the cars on heavier fuel loads. But as I was saying, Herter started the season with AJ Foyt in 94. Or I take that back. Did a part of the season anyway. Because I think Davy Jones actually started the year in the 14 in 1994. Ribeiro all over the place. Salazar. We've wound up the boost. Oh. I'm like, we'll stay out of that. And we get past Salazar as well. I'm not even going to try that and overtake into the double chicane. Oh, well, that was Ribeiro's fault. What was he doing sticking the nose up there? So for the moment, 21st. Halfway through the fuel run. Found a bit of a rhythm now. Through the chicane, we're coming up to rookie Gilda-Ferran. Driving for Jim Hall. Pennzoil Reynard. Up the inside of Bachelor, can we take advantage of it? We can. So 20th. Stefan Johansson is the next car ahead of us. $15 laps to go. So we're not going to make the finish. but hopefully some other cars might have to pit too. And we can only press on. Oh! That was pressing on too hard. How did we get away with that? Looks like Ribeiro flashed in our mirrors as we came around the last corner. So we've got to pass Eric Batchelor again. Batchelor in the Peyton Coyne Racing entry. Oh. Oh. Probably my fault, maybe. "18 seconds ahead to Johansson." So we lost a good lap or two there. Batchelor still going. Rub the fence. I do want to get to the finish because it's a good way of showing off the game. Although I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably watched GP laps and Ted Meet and people like that. So we've made a bit of time on Johansson on that lap. So I've crashed a few people who've been lapping me today, by the sounds of it, what seems like. Just feigning using experience as my reason. Used to driving a touring car. Thought this was a good chance to do one off because obviously it coincided with a round of the Australian Super Touring Championship we're doing, which of course supported this event in 1995. So why not do a one-off? Back onto the front straight. Sixth gear. 13 seconds now. So it's coming down. I would say that was coming down though because they've probably got enough fuel to finish the race. Back onto the Esplanade. Don't know how we got away with that spin through here earlier. So we drive around by ourselves. Ten to go, so we're going to pit with. Oh. Trying too hard, I'm trying to get a gap. Unbelievable this race hasn't had a yellow flag. Unbelievable I haven't caused one. Oh, I must apologise. Teo Fabi out of the race. In the Forsyth Racing Reynard. Of course, this would ultimately end up being Teo Fabi's last year of professional motorsport. Quite a glittering career, of course. Came close to the Can-Am title in 1981. Pole position on debut at Indianapolis in 1983. Won plenty of kart races in 1983. And across to F1. Of course, drove for Brabham. Had driven for Tolman as well, of course, before he came to kart. Went back to Tolman after Brabham for half a year. Drove for Benetton. Of course, then came back to IndyCars with Porsche. Then when that program ended, went to sports cars, won the 1991 World Sports Car Championship for Jaguar and Tom Walkinshaw Racing. 93-94, back to IndyCars with Hall Racing. Then 1995, back where it all started with Forsyth Racing. Of course, that's where he was in 1983. Oh, another glance at the wall. So, I've learnt a lot in this race. Over the back chicane. Catching up to Jill DeFerrin. Across the line. 7 to go. And depending on the traffic, we may be better to pit this lap. We can get another one out of it. See where we are at the end of the lap. I'm unlikely to clear them, I think, so onto the front straight. Jill DeFerrin, there's Adrian Fernandez in front of him in the Gallus car, so we'll come into the pits. Out of the pits. Keep the speed limit. Oh. Out just in front of Herder. Andretti gets around. I think we'll let Andretti go here. We've ruined his race enough. Oh no! No! Oh no! We'd saved ourselves. We weren't going to finish at the tail of the field. And just a spin, first lap out of the pits. Oh, what a frustrating race. Very frustrating. Biggest mistake was I didn't lower the fuel amount for that last stop. Couldn't quite find the... And there's my black flag for exceeding the pit lane speed limit. So... all going wrong. Well, that's the first flag of the race. No yellow flags, but we get a black flag. We'll just have to cop it. Into the pits. So that's the stop go. And white flag lap. So how do we reflect on this? Didn't have bad pace. Learned a lot about strategy. I wasn't getting dropped by the tail enders. Need to fix strategy. Need to cut out the silly errors. But that'll come. It was a hard first race to do, I think, a street circuit. keep at it. We'll be onto the ovals at some point as well. But despite the incidents and the spins and the driver errors, about as much fun as you can have on a sim. The playability of this is amazing. You know what, you can go on about graphics, but they're fine for what we want to do. You can have a good race, and that's the main thing as we come around the final corner to close off our Gold Coast Indy weekend. And 22nd place finish in the end in the 1995 Gold Coast Indy. Not great, but good fun, as we said. Let's go check out who won the race. Well, what a race. Pace car free unbelievably. Quite scrappy on my behalf, but happy to get through it just. Obviously an unscheduled pit stop, a bit of damage. We got in the way of the leaders a couple of times, but all in all quite entertaining, I thought. And here's how the results ended up. Michael Andretti, dominating performance, leads 58 of the 65 laps to win from Emerson Fittipaldi, Jacques Villeneuve, Paul Tracy and Scott Pruitt rounds out the top 5. Pruitt the only other driver to lead laps, he led 7 of them. Jimmy Vasser finishes up in 6th, Robbie Gordon 7th, Eddie Cheever a great job to go from 19th to 8th. 9th, Adrian Fernandez, while Gilda Ferran rounded out the top 10. 11th, Maurizio Gugelmin, Raul Boesel, he took the final points paying point in 12th, ahead of Christian Fittipaldi, Alessandro Zampedri, Andre Ribeiro, Carlos Guerrero, Marco Greco, Stefan Johansson finished 18th, Eric Batchelor was 19th, Eliseo Salazar 20th, Brian Herder 21st, we ended up 22nd, one place ahead of Hiro Matsushita, who was the final finisher. Teo Fabi dropped out late in the running with an oil pump problem. Parker Johnston, Al Unser Jr., the pole sitter, Bobby Rahal and Denny Sullivan also all failed to finish. You can see a few of the stats down the bottom there. Obviously, race time of 1 hour 48 minutes. 3.5 second victory for Michael Andretti. And of course, only 2 lead changes and absolutely no caution laps. So a lot of learning in that race. I want to do a lot more IndyCar racing. I have to figure out the best way to do it in terms of timing with some of the stuff we're already doing. But it's definitely doable. IndyCar Racing 2, if you can get yourself a copy of it and have a play, it is tremendous fun. That's where we'll leave the 1995 Gold Coast IndyCar event. Back soon with plenty more racing. Bye for now, and thank you for watching.